So how did you start from nothing to something, and then what was your mindset going into that?
Yeah, so I look back at that time. It was a very challenging time for me. So when I had just signed a lease on a commercial space, a 7-year commercial lease, going into this scratch contract, and I was in Chicago downstairs in the basement at our company's headquarters doing our training, and it was February of 2020. And the president comes on and is like, "Hey, I'm announcing a state of emergency. We're locking down all the airports. We're grounding flights." So I'm like, "Oh, great. There's a worldwide pandemic and everything was shutting down." So they let us out of school right then and there. And I luckily got the last flight out of Chicago back home to Arkansas before they shut down the airport. And it was absolute madhouse. And got back home and went to my new office space I had rented for, gosh, I don't know, $4,000 a month for the next 7 years. And it was in like a little shopping center, right? In like a shopping strip. There's restaurants and gyms and all kinds of things in there. And then there's my Allstate agency with my lights, and everything was shut. Everybody had closed down. Okay, like everything, signs on the doors shut down, and like my sign had just gone up. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to start this whole business from scratch in the middle of a pandemic when every other business around me is shutting down. And so that was really, it was a tough hurdle and a challenge to get over. But I kind of, like I said, I've got 4 kids, and insurance is all I've ever done. I put my entire life into this. And I was like, failure is not an option for me. Like, I have too many people counting on me. So we're just going to make it work, and we're going to do it big regardless of anything that comes across. So yeah, I staffed up before opening, and we opened the doors on June 1st, 2020. And we got off to a pretty good start, and got it rolling, pretty good within the first 6 months. And then about 10 months in, we opened another scratch satellite agency. So at that point, we had two scratches running side by side. So it was fun. It was a fun time. It was very challenging, very exciting time, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's been life changing for me.